Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is Boop, I Love You, Chapter 3, and this one is titled Quirky Plan. That night, you thought about how to get closer to Shinsou. I mean, using my quirk would be the best way to get close to him, but it wouldn't help conversation-wise. Your quirk, Therianthropy, allowed you to shapeshift into an animal, more specifically a cat. That was it. It was a very particular and singular quirk. You couldn't change into other animals like some of the other shapeshifters that you knew, but hey, you didn't mind. It's not like you used it that often. The only times it came in handy was when you were wished to get from one place to the other without being seen in human form, but even then it was difficult as your quirk duration only lasted 5 minutes. Want to avoid that annoying person? Shapeshift and march on by, problem solved. You were told that if you practiced staying in your cat form, you would eventually be able to maintain it for a good half hour or even longer, but you never really got the chance to practice staying in form, so you couldn't say if this was true or not. When you had shapeshifted into cat form, you could still understand human speech, but you couldn't reply. If you did try and say something in return, it would come out as a meow or a purr. You couldn't understand other animals either, and couldn't communicate with other cats, so it was just you, alone, in this form. There were a lot of similarities between your personality as a human and as a cat. In human form, you were curious, somewhat unpredictable, loved to lie around at times and be flat out and busy other times. You liked your alone time just as much as you liked your time with others, but you were selective about who you would spend time with and would just up and disappear when you'd had enough time socializing. When in cat form, you were a pure white, pretty-looking cat with intelligent blue eyes that sometimes showed a little too much emotion, more than the average cat would show. So if you wanted to make it look like you were an actual cat, you had to hide your emotions as much as possible, otherwise people would get suspicious. I mean, I guess I could meet him on his walk home, you thought. Even if I just got a pat from him, that'd be enough. You hopped up from where you were lying on the bed and walked over to your mirror and shapeshifted into cat form, looking at yourself in the mirror. I mean, it'll do, you thought as you turned side on and looked at yourself and then sat down. Okay, now to see how the voice sounds. You tilted your head cutely as you looked at your cat body inside profile. Hi, you meowed. It was a medium tone, a cute little meow, and you smiled internally. Yeah, that's cute. That'll get his attention. Suddenly your nose started to tingle. The nose tingle was the sign that your quirk was about to run out and you were about to shapeshift back to human form. Whew, okay, beware the nose tingles. I gotta get away from him as soon as I feel those tingles, otherwise he's gonna see me transform and that will be the end of my little attempt to get close. The next day at school, you told your friend about the plan to run into Shinsou, and she laughed. It's perfect, she replied. It's foolproof for getting his attention, but also good for conversation, but guess you can't have it all. You sighed. I know, but all I want is a pat, and that's it. I'll be happy with that. Your friend hummed. Okay, we'll see if that actually does satisfy you. That day after school, you both headed over to UA for her to see her boys and for you to try and catch a glimpse of Shinsou and trail behind him for a bit before turning into a cat. You sat on a low wall nearby and pulled your phone out, making it look like you were innocently waiting for someone while occasionally glancing up to see if Shinsou had come out yet. Finally you spotted him and your heart started racing. Oh my god, am I actually doing this? Okay, stay calm. God, he's so cute. Okay, breathe and follow from a distance, you mentally coached. You hopped off the wall and started walking in the same direction as Shinsou, slowly, as if you weren't following him. But the further that you got from the school, the less amount of people seemed to be going in the same direction, and soon it would look suspicious with you just following him. You looked around for somewhere to drop your school bag and chucked it in behind a bush, making a mental note to come back for it later. You glanced around quickly to make sure no one else was around and then shapeshifted into cat form, jumping up on the brick wall nearby and running along to catch up to Shinsou. As you got closer, you called out to him. Hey, wait up a minute! He heard your meows and stopped immediately, looking back over his shoulder and up at you as you padded up beside him atop the wall. You stopped just next to him and looked down. He smiled at you. Hey, he said, extending his hand to you. You're cute. You blushed madly internally and tried to refrain from spazzing out in your cat form. Oh my god, she just called me cute, oh my god! You leaned your head down to him to receive a pat, and his gentle hand met your fur just between your soft white ears. You don't have a collar, he commented. Are you a stray? You're pretty friendly for a stray. he added as his hand slipped from your head, around under your chin, scratching you gently. Oh my god, this feels so good, you purred. You're really well kept for a stray, too, he pointed out, looking you over with his tired, deep purple eyes, ending with your beautiful blue eyes staring deeply into his. You blushed and pulled back, looking away to hide the emotion in your eyes. You heard him chuckle deeply, and you glanced back at him from the corner of your eye. You're funny, he said with a smile. Do you live around here? You felt your nose start to tingle and freaked out, turning and bolting away along the brick wall before dropping down onto the other side of the wall into someone's backyard. You landed just before you shifted back into human form. Oh my god, that was so close, you gasped internally. Things are moving quick. Stay tuned for chapter 4 coming tomorrow.